So it says this illustration has 3 rows of graphs. The first row is position versus time. The second row is velocity versus graphs, or time. Sorry, velocity versus time graphs. And then acceleration versus time. And we're supposed to figure out what matches up the best. So when we look at the position, over here, the position doesn't move at all. So that means, remember that the slope of the line is the velocity. So this is a 0 slope. This is a negative slope, so this is a negative velocity. And this is a velocity that actually increases in a negative direction. And it goes from a positive velocity to a 0 velocity to a negative. So it also changes direction. You guys have a seat. Let me finish this real quick, okay? Okay. So then we compare the velocity. So this is a positive velocity. This is, it goes from negative to positive. So my velocity literally changes direction. So that means my acceleration is the slope. So it's a positive acceleration. This is a negative acceleration. And this one, the acceleration is equal to 0 because the slope of the velocity versus time graph is our acceleration. Okay? And then lastly, our acceleration. This acceleration doesn't change at all. So this is a constant acceleration. Constant. And it's constant and it's a positive acceleration. So this one, S might match with P. This is also a constant acceleration, but my acceleration goes from negative, because I have a negative, I have a negative acceleration on the bottom here. Hey, quit playing around. And then my acceleration is positive here. And then from here, I have a constant negative acceleration. So how do you match these up? Well, F is a constant position which corresponds with the 0 velocity. I don't have a 0 velocity anywhere. So F is ruled out. So this one doesn't really do me any good, right? So you got to compare this to this, and we're going to try to find 3 that match up, okay? G has a downward sloping line which corresponds with a negative velocity. A constant velocity corresponds with an acceleration of 0. Okay? But since there are no graphs with a 0 acceleration, G is ruled out. So because there's no change in velocity and there's no 0 acceleration, G's out. So H is the one. H is the one. So now we got to find something that matches H. So the velocity corresponds to H. It has to start at 0 and then increase in the negative direction, because that's what the slope is. When you think about it, if I think of the slope right here, if I were to draw like a tangent line, oops, I keep doing this. You got to imagine that the slope is like a tangent line. So it's like this is the slope right here. Just imagine like a line that goes this way. And then the slope changes and becomes more and more steep. So when we look at it that way, the velocity that corresponds to H has to increase in the negative x direction. Now there's only one that does that. Which one is that?
Q.
Q. So this corresponds to Q. So that means that P is out and R is out. So now we look at the acceleration. Which one is a constant negative acceleration? U. Ta-da!
Thank you.
So we've got H, Q, and U. That was it. Let me save this.